I'm going to show you now how to do the parade program for the Maqueen robot. So to do this, we are going to use the Mind Plus program. So when you have opened the program, you will see there's this big block in front of you for if you want to do Arduino C or Python programming, just click and drag it smaller, because we are not going to use that right now. We're just going to stay with the block coding. So at the moment, I do not have my Maqueen robot set up here on the left hand side. So I'll go to extensions, click on Kit, click on Maqueen, and back. Now they will give you all the extensions for the Maqueen programming. So we will start with the Maqueen starts and the forever loop, because we are going to try and get the little robot to follow a black line. And that means it's going to, because we are doing a parade, it will keep on forever until we say it is enough. So we will do the forever loop. Inside the forever loop, we're going to go to control, and we are going to put in you will see there is an if and then, and the if then else, and the if then and a plus. I want you to drag out the if then plus, and then you add it, you click on it 3 times, so that you can have 3 different C blocks where we can input things. But now I have 4, so I'm clicking on the minus to change it only to 3, and you drag it into the forever loop. So I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger, it's easier to see. So we have the Maqueen starts in the forever loop. We have the if something happens, then something else is happening, or something else is happening. That means we are going to drive forward when you see a black line, but we're going to try and move it to the right to move to the white area, and then we will move to the black line again, and that is how we are going to follow the black line. Now there are patterns that we are going to repeat, and I want you to take out the 3 following operators: 2 of the equal signs and 1 of the and. And this is going to be quite not difficult, but you have to concentrate very carefully. So I'm just going to put it underneath in there. Now inside we need to put in the light reading sensors. So I'm going back here to the left to the Maqueen, and we scroll down to the board resources where we find the red left P13 line tracking sensor. I want you to take out 2 of them, but 1 you click on the drop down arrow and you change it to the right. Now look carefully, you're going to take this one, and this left arrow should go inside the first input button there. So I cannot put it on top of the other one. The left arrow must show inside there, and it will pop in. And you do the same with the following one. Left arrow into there, and we are going to say 0 and 0, because the dark line, or the value of the dark line, equals 0, and the value of the white area on the field equals 1. Now currently those 2 need to put into this and. Now I'm going to move this one more to the left because it's going to be a long one. If you drag these 2, if you click on the dark green, you pop him out. So be careful not to do that. Click on the light green and drag the left arrow into the first block. And to do the same with the second one, so I need to move him more to the left. Be careful that you don't throw it away. The other one to the right needs to go into that area there. And to move all of them into this first block, you click on the light green and you move it up and you pop him in there. So let's put it into the screen. So now I have my left line tracking sensor equals 0, dark, and my right sensor equals 0, which is dark. Something else needs to happen. But before we do that, right click here in the middle, we say duplicate, put it into the second one, right click, duplicate, put it into the third line. So you will see there is a pattern, but currently it will just go straight forward because all of them are zeros. Now to do a line tracking sensor or a line following robot, it goes to the right, left, so it's going to go across. So we start with the first one on dark and defines the light. Then the second one we will keep on the light and it needs to follow the dog. So if you see there, it goes into a cross. So we have straight forward, going to the right and going to the left. Now what is going to the right and to the left, you will ask. So we go to motor control under Maqueen, and we find the motor, move left, and we find another motor, move left, but one of them changes to motor right, so that both motors of the Maqueen go forward currently at a speed of 200. But if your robot goes at a speed of 200, it might be too fast to see the black line. So we are going to move him slower to approximately 100, and you are going to duplicate that. I want 3 of them. So they mustn't be connected. So there are 3 because we have 3 different C blocks where they fit in. So the first one is motor left, motor right, forward, forward. We will put in both of the same speed into the first block because we said when both of the lines are dark, it needs to drive forward. Now for the next one is when one motor sensor goes to the right, we take the second one, but we are changing the speed to 100 on top for the left motor and 10 for the right motor. That means my left motor will make it move to the right. So we are going to search for the white area. The other one, the last one we put in the last box, still left motor, right motor going forward, but now we need to turn it back to the black line. So we have a 10 there and 100 there. So you'll see the 2 inside ones are 10 and the 2 outside ones are 100. So it will go either to the right or to the left, to the right, to the left. And that is how we are going to follow the black line. But there's one thing that I want to add just to make it very interesting. So we find the pin 15 RGB 0 and the color. So you change that to all, and you can choose there any different color except for black, because our LED RGB sensor cannot read black. So whichever color you like, you click there, you put it in the forever loop but outside the if loop. And when you are done with this, your program is done. Now you click here on the top, connect device. I don't have a device close to me, but they will, if you plug in your USB cable to your robot and to the laptop, there will be a COM port or COM3 or COM15 or something like Maqueen, and you connect it to your robot there. And after that, you click on your upload button to put this program onto your robot. Make sure your robot is switched off while you're doing that, because the moment that you unplug, your robot will start driving. Actually, when it's still plugged in, connected to the USB, when it's uploaded and switched on, your robot will start driving immediately. It can drive off the table. So always make sure that your robot is switched off when you're uploading, and only switch it on when you are on the table where you are testing your robot. Good luck, and don't forget to decorate your robot to announce your school's name on it, so that we can have a great parade, but it mustn't be too big so that it can still drive easily. Thank you very much. In our previous recording of the robot parade, we have ended up with this big program. But now our screen is pretty much full, so there's no place for our Sumocup programming. So there is a small way, or a way that we can change this. And that is if I click on the My Blocks, and then you click on Make a Block, I will give this program and the name of Parade. But now I can define Parade, but there's nothing inside there yet. So all that I do is I drag the whole program into there, and I can collapse it. So now I have made up a whole new space, but this is not my program because it's not connected to Maqueen Starts. So you'll see here under the My Blocks, you have made a new one of Parade, and you can click and drag it over there and say, well, I have done my Parade program. So instead of having that long big program for the screen full, I can just say Maqueen Starts and Parade. Now the next one I want to start with a Robot Sumo is I can add another Maqueen Starts for that, but you will see you will not be able to upload when you have two Maqueen Starts. So we need to choose another event program to make the Sumocup work. So I'm going to choose, now you can choose between button A and button B. Because I'm right-handed, it's easier for me to always use button B. Now, in the Bottle Sumo competition, there are 3 different things that your robot needs to be able to do. First, he must drive around and search for a cup. Then he needs to push the cup out. And number 3 is you have to reverse back to this field to search for the next one. So we need to find 3 more My Blocks. So the first one is I'm going to say make a block, and we will call it search. And I will say, and we have one that says define search. And you'll see here on the left hand side we made a new one. So everything that we will put into the define search will already be inside that pink block. Just think about like when you have, so I'm just going to put that one over there for a moment. Think of when you buy coffee and when you make coffee. When you buy coffee, you have the big tin full of coffee pieces and things to make the coffee with. But it is not the coffee that you can drink. And this one is your coffee mug full of coffee, so it's already done and finished. You can just use it and drink it. But this one, you still have to add things to make it useful. So at the moment, we have to define the search button, and we'll do the other make blocks later on. So in our define search, I always like to make my robots colorful because, well, why not? The Maqueen robot is really, it gives you the functionality to make it colorful. So you can choose the color on just one of the RGB pins, or you can put it on all, and you can choose any color that you want to drive with over there. So I am going to keep it with blue. Then while it is driving, you want to tell somebody else that is looking at it what it is doing. So I am going to put in the display pattern, and because we are searching, so we're going to put in the letter S to say we are searching. Alright, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you to see. Now the next one is you have to repeat this until you can find a polystyrene cup. So we are going to say repeat until, because you never know when this cup is in front of you. And we are using the ultrasonic sensor. So we go back to Maqueen, to the board's resources, and we are going to look for the, let me just scroll down until I see it, the ultrasonic sensor. And it's not this one. Yeah, it is, but we are missing something. You need to put it into an operator that says less than. So you're going to put your sensor into the first button, click and drag it on the light green, and you can choose a value anything between 20 and 30 centimeters. You must choose what works for you best. I am using it 20 centimeters. I've used 30 centimeters, but the 30 centimeters might be a little bit too far. It all depends on the speed of your robot. So please play around with this value of 20 to 30 centimeters. Now what does your robot need to do? He needs to drive around while it is searching. So you're going down to motor left, do not connect, and you put in a motor to the right. So you click on the drop down arrow and motor to the right. Now I want it to spin around, so that means spin means one wheel goes backwards. And it needs to spin slowly so that it can find this polystyrene cup. So if it goes too fast, you will not be able to spot this polystyrene cup quickly enough before it passes. So make it spin slowly. When it sees a cup within 20 centimeters from it, you need to make your robot stop. So you put both motors to a stop. But sometimes if it happens that your robot is too fast, you just have to move it back a little bit. So because we turn to the right, I need now to make it move a little bit backwards and not too fast. Otherwise you go all the way past the cup again. So we are going to go slowly, just a little bit back until it is totally aligned with your cup. So again, here with this input value, you have to choose how far you need to drive to go back. And then again, you make your robot stop. Because that is the first part, and because we have used LED colors over there, we need to clear all LEDs afterwards. Now I have defined my search button. Change the color and put on the letter S to say search. When you will turn it to the right hand side until you see something less than 20 centimeters away from him, then he will stop, turn a little bit backwards and stop again. So you can collapse your search button, and we're just going to put him up. Our next part will be where when we've seen the polystyrene cup, we have to push it outside the big fat black line. So we're going back to the My Blocks. We make a new block, we say do push, and you'll see I'm using small letters and capital letters, no spaces in between. It just makes it easier for the robot to read what is happening there. Now we need to define, let's just move that one back over there, and that you can see where we are at the moment. Now we have to define the do push button, and again we are going to add a display, and you are going to write in the letter P, and you're also going to add a color, a different color. Now with the search button we've used blue, and with this one, when you're going forward, I am going to use green. Good. So my robot needs to go forward and push the cup out of the line. So we go back to robot move forward. Now you will see in the previous lesson or parts, we used the robot move to the left and right with both going forward. But because now we know we're not going to use anything different, we can just use the single one of forward, and the speed can be 200 because you want your robot to spit it out quite fast. Now the next one is you have to stop when your sensors are reading the black line. So we are going to say wait until my line tracking sensors. So we go to Maqueen, go down to your board resources, and you find the line tracking sensor. Now, as you know, there are two sides, so you don't know which side your robot will be. So we have a port 13 and a port 14. So when either of those sensors are reading the black line, we have to reverse. So we are going to say wait until, and we will say either one of them. So we're going to put in two equal signs, and we are not going to use and, but we are going to use or in this case. So when my left tracking sensor senses the black, remember 0 equals to the black line, or my right sensor reads the black line, we are going to put them into the or. And remember, you have to drag it on the light green and put it in there. When either the left tracking sensor or the right line tracking sensor reaches the black line, we are going to make my robot move back to the beginning of the line, of the center of this circle. So we move the robot backwards. See that there we had forward, now we change it to backward. And you don't want to go too fast, because then you're going all the way to the other side of the screen. And you can choose again on your weight, your input here. You need to play around again with how far you want to drive back before you make your motors stop. So, and we just have to clear all LEDs. So what is happening here? We choose a different color, we show the letter P to say we are pushing the cups, and you can do it quite fast as long as you are sure that you are not losing your cups along the line. You push them forward until either line tracking sensor 13 or line tracking sensor 14 sees a black line. Then it will slowly move backwards, back to the center stage for a couple of seconds or part of a second. This part is where you need to choose how far you want to drive back. And remember, every robot is different because of the battery power. So then your motor stops and you clear all LEDs. So we are going to collapse this one. So we have to find our push button, and so we can search for the cup, we push it outside. Now we have to go, and so the last part is I'm going to make a new my block, and we say do reverse. Now you can give it any name as long as you know what you are writing. So now we have to define the do reverse. Now if you can remember there's a pattern. So my first pattern will be, we choose a color. So we have blue and green, so I'm going to make this one red because we are reversing. People need to be careful. And we are going to put in a display. What can you guess what the letter will be in there? R for reverse. Now my robot needs to move back, so I'm going back to motor control. Oopsie, not stop, we'll do that one later. And we will move backwards. Because we have pushed the robot or the cups out, we move it backwards. But you again need to find out how far you need to go backwards to be approximately in the middle or center of the circle again. Then you stop your motors and you clear your LEDs. So this is the easy one. Choose a color, display the R, going back to the center of the circle. Remember to find out your own value here, stop and clear all LEDs. Now you say collapse. You have done all three of your areas right now. So how do we program or put them all together? So when we're going forward, or when we start our program, we want to display a forward one. So not a hard, so here on top you can find arrows, and we are going to say my little robot is going to drive forward. Now we have 4 cups in the field, so choose a repeat button and change it to 4 because you want to repeat this story. Now you can do it 5 times or more. If you are scared that you're going to lose the cup somewhere, then you can add more, but it's not necessary because you'd have, if your program works, you can stop after all 4 of them is out. So what do? You are going to go to My Blocks, you are going to search for the cup, you're going to push the cup out, and you're going to reverse. Between all of them, we always try to wait a second. It's just to control your robot a little bit better so that you have, well, at least you can see where you are, and you do not use momentum to work things out, but your robot is much more controlled. Now when you are done with this, you can connect your device again there on top, and you can upload it over there. On the Sumo field, the 4 cups will never be on the same place. Even if there are 4 small circles on this middle line, it's not necessary that the cups will have to be there. So when you practice, put the cups all the way around the circle in any different place, And your robot must also be able to look in different positions. Can be north, south, east, west, north, south, east, on any other direction. So it will never be in the same position. So make sure that your robot can work on any kind of scenario. So when you have uploaded, put down your robot, press the button B. Now, if you have Maqueen starts and Parade is connected, and when button B is pressed, when both of them are connected at the same time, your robot will start with the Maqueen start immediately. So if you are not doing the Parade, just take this one out, disconnect it, so that you only work with this one. I'm just keeping both of them on the same screen so that it's easier for you to know which one to do. If you only want to do the Parade, you connect that one and you disconnect this one. But otherwise, if you do download the Maqueen starts with the Parade, then this one will automatically work when you press button B. But it is easier to just either disconnect the one or the other one when you upload, because we are not going to use both of them at the same time. It will be two separate competitions and you have time to upload either or and have some fun. Thank you very much. We'll see you at the competition.